Hi, my name is Chris Farron, and I will be giving a presentation on the Krakatoa eruption. Krakatoa was a volcano located in the Sunda Strait in Indonesia. The Sunda Strait is located between the islands of Sumatra and Java. This strait is home not only to the Krakatoa Islands, but also the islands of Sabesi, Sanyang, Sabuku, and the Phoenician Islands. Indonesia is the country with the most number of active volcanoes. Krakatoa is what is described as a stratovolcano. This means it is tall and cone-like with many layers of solid lava, volcanic ash, and tephra. Stratovolcanoes usually have steep sides and have violent eruptions that occur somewhat often, so it's really no surprise that Krakatoa erupted. Stratovolcanoes are the most likely type of volcano to erupt. These volcanoes form when eruptions occur and cause material to be deposited near a vent. From here, the release of gases and rising of magma cause the volcano's pressure to rise. One other famous example of this type of volcano is Mount St. Helens, which also erupted in a devastating fashion in the state of Washington. Its location was between the islands of Java and Sumatra. This is actually where the majority of volcanoes in Indonesia are located. Krakatoa is a bit small in appearance to the other volcanoes comparatively. Krakatoa was and still is in the province of Lampung in Indonesia. On May 20th, 1883, Krakatoa erupted. This event was so powerful that it caused a change in the tides, and people's windows were even exploding and breaking, causing damage to households. Ships could no longer be anchored down. They were forced to be tied up with a number of chains. On August 26th, true tragedy began to strike. 4 eruptions occurred in the time span from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. I believe the first one occurred around 5:30, and the last one occurred at 10:02 a.m. The walls of the volcano were penetrated, which allowed seawater to flow in and blend with the magma. This created steam so hot that most of the island was laid to ruin. Apparently, the sound of the explosion was heard all the way in Australia. Krakatoa's explosion is considered to be the loudest explosion in human history. Although the steam created by the explosion was devastating to the island, the tsunamis caused by the explosion are what actually caused the majority of the deaths. Massive tidal waves, or tsunamis, were created in the ocean, which rose up to 100 feet tall and even taller. Many islands were completely underwater. A number of them were also submerged by as much as 2 meters of water from the sea. On the morning of the 27th, the coast of Java was impacted by the waves. These waves traveled along the coast between Merak and Turingen. Soon, Anjer, Merak, Turingen, and were completely destroyed. Even 58 miles away, in the island of Priok, Krakatoa made itself felt. The San Francisco harbor even had slightly higher waves for several days after the event. Keep in mind this is all the way in the United States, so it had a very large impact. People were forced to climb trees in order to escape the lava flows and the steam and tsunamis and such. These events claimed 36,000 human lives. One steamship, the Baru, was thrust in more than a mile inland by the waves. The ship had 28 crew members and there were no survivors. Settlements in Sumatra and Java were completely destroyed. Another 1,000 people were also killed by volcanic ash, which resulted from this explosion. Corpses were scattered all around land and the oceans. The oceans were also filled with debris from houses and ships and everything in between. There were so many deaths, it was almost impossible to give everyone a proper burial. Bodies were so marred and damaged that it was challenging to even identify who belonged to what body. Many people were never able to identify and find their families' bodies again. Many bodies were also scorched from the heat ejected from the volcano, which traveled for miles. This heat is known as pyroclastic flows. The first-person accounts of this event were horrifying. Captain Sampson, a man in charge of a ship called the Norham Castle, claimed that the sky was pitch black and the majority of his men had shattered eardrums. He believed this day to be Judgment Day in his eyes. The fact that a tough sailor such as Sampson could view this event as the end of times shows just how terrible the situation must have been for all of those involved. A woman inhabiting the islands, Johanna Bjernik, also had a terrifying recount of the event. She was in such shock from the event that she did not notice much of her skin had been burned off of her body. She saw it hanging from a tree branch and could not figure out what it was, which turned out to be her skin covered in volcanic ash. This explosion was the equivalent of 200 tons of TNT. That is 4 times more than that of the largest bomb ever created by man. The dust particles from this explosion created beautiful sunsets that could be viewed for weeks and even months later. Scientists do believe that Krakatoa will erupt again one day. After its explosion, it gave birth to its child, as one would say, Anak Krakatoa. This new Krakatoa was discovered in December of 1927 by a fisherman who noticed steam and debris emanating from the ocean. By January of 1928, the volcano started to poke out above sea level. Right now it is small because of the last explosion, but once it reaches its previous size, it is likely to erupt again. Stratovolcanoes are known to erupt frequently during their lifespan, and Krakatoa is no different. That's just the type of volcano it is. As of right now, the surrounding areas of Krakatoa are a popular vacation destination. Many travelers actually travel directly up to the volcano to view it from close range. In conclusion, obviously they should be wary of doing this because Krakatoa is likely to erupt again and could cause as much or more damage as the last time.